Hi everyone, my name is Maria and I'm with the San Francisco Human Services Agency, and I'm delighted today to join the three co-directors of the San Francisco Disability Cultural Center. We got Dagny, Mika, and Emily. If you can go ahead and tell us a little bit more about yourselves.
Sure, I'll go first. I'm Dagny Brown. I am a disabled parent, reader, community organizer. I love all things quiet, especially if there's a cat involved, and I'm the co-director of the Disability Cultural Center.
Awesome. My name is Mika. I'm really happy to be here with you today. I am a neuro-umami, non-binary organizer and youth leadership development facilitator and climber of trees and rocks. And yeah.
Awesome. And I am Emily Badix. I am a co-director, and right now I'm also the interim director of the Longmore Institute on Disability in San Francisco State. I am a scholar activist, somebody who likes to kind of bridge worlds, and I exist because of a disability that my parent had, and got that diagnosis and decided she wanted to have a kid. So that draws me with a very personal connection to the work in the world. I'm a parent, and I love comics and all things graphic novels.
Awesome. Well, thank you, all three of you, for being here. Just want to say, our agency is really excited about the Disability Cultural Center becoming a reality. And we're here to chat more about the center, how it came about, get a little sneak peek preview of the virtual launch, and then get a little bit more history about the center. So with that, I'm going to jump into our first question. Can you tell us a little bit more about the center? Who is it for, and why is it so important?
Well, the center is, what I'm excited about for the center is that it is for everyone. The Disability Cultural Center is a space where folks who might not always have felt belonging can have a space, both a virtual and soon to be physical space, where they can be themselves and have community and celebrate culture.
The other thing I want people to know is, we're not checking for diagnoses to enter the door. If you feel like disability speaks to you, if you feel like you live with a disability condition and maybe the word disability doesn't speak, but you're excited about a program that we're offering, come on in. We want you there.
Yeah, I'm just excited that we have this space in the city of San Francisco to just celebrate disabled joy and to celebrate disabled creativity, but also a space for grieving and venting and just bringing your whole self and all the facets that it is to be disabled. So it's a beautiful gift to be able to open this space.
Awesome. Thank you.
So you talked a little bit about this, but what does the center represent to the disability community in San Francisco? And then after that, can you share a little bit more about the virtual programming? What's coming up this summer?
Yeah. I think that just to kind of what both of my co-directors were saying, it's a space where people who haven't felt belonging can come together and feel belonging, whether it's, event that's specifically focused on a disability, whether it's a cross-disability event, whether it's a event focused on queerness or being BIPOC or any of the other identities that are in San Francisco. It's a space where we want to cultivate belonging and take leadership from the people who are in those communities and just really be able to hold that space and facilitate that space. So I think for the city of San Francisco, it's another cultural center that will be continually evolving and really open for the community to shape it. There's so many programs coming up. We're having a bachata, interpretive, assisted, adaptive dance. We're having a night of disability culture coming up as our launch. We're also just going to have flexible together time where people can come in and check in and do dishes with someone or do your homework together. There's also going to be some slow dating events, which is something that we've been trying to make happen for a long time. Those are the ones I'm excited about, but I know we all have our own passions. Emily, Mika, either one of you.
I was thinking about something else, so you go first.
I think I'm just excited more broadly about the Cultural Center being a place that can do the long-term change work. Like, we have a lot of amazing resources in the city that are serving disabled people with, like, how do we, right now there's so many basic needs not being met, and that work is so essential. And yet, if we're always in this basic needs conversation, we're also not getting out of the trap of, like, always having it be about that, rather than, like, how do we do the long-term cultural change work so that we don't have to keep playing that game, so that, like, people are just hiring disabled people as opposed to us needing to, like, create these systems to convince employers to hire disabled people. So a lot of our programs are about bringing disabled people together because of the power of disability culture to change hearts and minds and how we understand disability to make that long-term change happen, and also, like, create this community space where some of the networking happens and the sort of sharing of resources to make San Francisco a more livable place for disabled people, whereas in a lot of ways it really isn't right now. So just getting to dream is amazing. And I think we're really trying to bring that into almost every program that we're doing. Like, if it's culture gets written off as, like, silly or trivial, but, like, every single one that we're doing, it's because we actually think this is part of, like, restore and care from, like, living in an environment that has so much ableism, and also just, like, some of the ways that those can build community to fight for those bigger long-term goals ahead.
Yeah, and it's not just, like, we think. Also, we've, like, done a lot of community research and held focus groups and have been involved with community all along. So these are all programs that have come up from those conversations and that work.
And yeah, it's just really exciting that this is the first municipally funded disability cultural center that we know of in the country, and that, that's the principles of disability justice are really guiding the work that we're doing, and, hearing from the community what their needs and desires are, and creating both a virtual and, helping in the design of this physical space that will be really joyful and easeful, and yeah, just create that sense of belonging that we really want to have. So even in the physical design of the space, like, thinking about how we can meet the needs of so many different bodies and minds in a way that will make it, like, just a wonderful, relaxing, joyful space to be in.
Absolutely, awesome. So you talked a little bit about the community and how you listened to the community, and that helped inform the programming. Can you share a little bit more about how the center came about? What's the history behind it?
There are disability cultural centers in existence, but they're all inside of universities currently. And at San Francisco State, we have a disability service office that handles compliance, and we have the Longmore Institute, which is supposed to be thinking about how do we foster a community of belonging and a place where we can dream up what it looks like to go so far beyond compliance. Nicole Bond left San Francisco State to become the director of the Mayor's Office on Disability, and was in conversations with the then director of Department of Disability and Aging Services. And together they dreamt up the idea of, like, that the city of San Francisco should have that as well. That we have the Mayor's Office on Disability and many other local nonprofits that do service focused work, and that this can be a culture-focused program. And so then early on in, it was 2018, they reached out to the city to ask, like, who would want to do the research to go out and hear from community and really think what this could be and plan for it. And at that point, the Longmore Institute, I was there for this, got the contract to do that work, and DOS told us, like, we want to hear from everybody, not just the usual suspects. We want this center to be built for the diverse disability community in San Francisco. And so we went out and did a number of different things. We did a big survey that had, I think, over 600, maybe 700 people responded and shared their thoughts. We did focus groups that were really centering on, like, who doesn't get heard from enough in the disability community, and gathered people together and really, like, had them dream up in that space. And then we also met with community leaders, disability rights and justice leaders throughout the city, to make sure that we're not reinventing the wheel, that the existing programs are being supported, and that we're kind of pulling each other up with this development. And so that led to kind of developing a guiding document of, like, what people were looking for. And then the pandemic hit, and it definitely slowed things down for a bit. Although I think it's so important to note that in 2018 and 2019, when that research was coming up, that disabled people were saying, like, make it hybrid, make sure there's a plan for virtual participation. Like, people already knew this was this was already people's lives. And so all of that leading up to this moment in time has just been, like, very community driven, of listening and letting that guide the process of development.
And I think it's also, like, if I can just jump in for a minute, so cool because the brick and mortar space is going to be right across from where, like, the 504 protests were, which is, like, the longest ever occupation of, like, a government building, and it made so much change and really, like, set the groundwork for the ADA. So San Francisco, the Cultural Center, is, like, existing in this really deep, rich history of activism, and, like, we just see another way that disabled people are leading the way. And here we are.
And the Bay Area leading the way, too.
That's true.
The other part of now let's be snobby for a minute.
I'm always down for that. I'm always down for that.
Make it a city rival thing. But the Bay Area has an incredible history of being a leader of generating disability culture. We had Access Dance as, like, the first inter-able dance troupe. We had this network of art workshops and studios aimed at supporting developmentally disabled and intellectually disabled artists like Naiad, Creativity Explored, and Creative Growth. And in addition to, like, the Bay Area being this amazing hotbed of disability activism and disability justice, with organizations like Sins Invalid and Disability Justice Culture Club. So it's such an exciting opportunity to show that a city government can do this, and we sure hope others are following suit. We will totally let you steal all the ideas, because we want way more of these across the country. But it's also really exciting as far as, like, how we are approaching everything. Everything is going to be hybrid, even when we have a brick and mortar spot. And that's not just so that we can serve disabled San Franciscans who can't get out of bed, can't leave their home. It's also about the fact that it's an amazing thing with virtual technology. Like, there's no reason to be like, oh, you're outside. Like, we want more people to come and experience these programs, because we know there's a lot of people living in parts of the country where it's unthinkable to have a disability cultural center, and we want this to be available to them virtually as well.
Very, very cool. Well, with that, is there any final thoughts you want to share with us about the center?
I think I would just say that our first virtual program, our Night of Disability Culture, is happening on Friday, July 12th, and you'll, I'm sure, do the whole tagging us and whatnot for registration. But we would love to have as many people just kind of come and see what disability culture is, and experience some really beautiful art and a deep conversation. There will also be, like, a little fashion show, dance party situation. So it'll be really fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you all three so much. Thank you for sharing more about the center. SFHSA is super thrilled to be able to support this project and see it, this dream become a reality. So thanks for that.